Yo, what's good? Picture this. It's 3 a.m., you're knocked out dreaming about crushing steel at the range or that epic bacon burger, when suddenly, creak, some sketchy noise downstairs snaps you awake. Heart pounding, adrenaline dumping, you realize there's no time to fumble with a safe or load a shotgun. You need something light, dead simple, and ready to rock right now. That's why a solid 9mm carbine is straight up unbeatable for home defense. These things are the Swiss Army knives of guns. Super versatile, crazy reliable, perfect for protecting the house, mag dumping at the range, or tossing in the truck for a weekend trip. And they do it all without robbing you blind. So grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's run through the best budget 9mm carbines that actually slap. Real performance, beginner-friendly, prices that won't hurt. By the end, you'll know exactly which one deserves a spot by your bed. Smash that like, hit subscribe, drop a comment telling me your favorite, and let's dive in. Kicking things off strong, we have the Extar EP9, and bro, this thing is pure nostalgia crack. If you've ever wanted that classic World War II M1 carbine aesthetic, but in glorious 9mm, this is the one calling your name. Rocking a 19-inch barrel and tipping the scales an insanely light 5.8 pounds. You can whip this thing around hallways and doorways like it's nothing when you're investigating that sketchy bump in the night. It runs on a super simple blowback system, so cleaning and maintenance is basically dummy-proof, even if you're still new to the game. Feeds from Beretta 92 magazines, 10-round standard, but you can slap in 30-rounders all day long for maximum freedom. Street price sits between $480 and $650 depending on the shop, and for that money, you're getting an absolute gem. It dominates in close-quarter situations like home defense, still prints respectable groups at 50 yards for fun range days. And since it eats cheap 9mm like candy, you can train all you want without going broke. Couple small gripes. No last round bolt hold open, so tactical reloads under stress aren't as fast as lightning, and accuracy does fall off a little past 50 yards. But if you want retro cool factor, featherweight handling, and a price that makes you smile, the Extar M1-9 is an easy W. Think of it as that beat-up but bulletproof old Ford truck in your grandpa's barn. Nothing fancy, but it always gets the job done. Coming in hot next is the Thurian Defense 9mm carbine, a much more modern-looking beast with a clean 16.5-inch barrel and a still very manageable 6.5 pounds of total weight. Price runs $640 to $710, so it's creeping toward the top of our budget ceiling. But stick with me, because this thing earns every penny. Simple blowback keeps felt recoil basically non-existent, letting you hammer doubles faster than a John Wick reload. The absolute killer feature? It runs everybody's favorite Glock magazines, cheap everywhere, and available in happy sticks up to 33 rounds if you're feeling spicy. Comes standard with a fully adjustable M4 style stock, so it fits literally anybody from 5'0" nothing to 6' forever. Plus, it's got a built-in muzzle brake that tames blast and keeps the muzzle flat during those mag dump therapy sessions. Super accurate inside 75 yards, making it awesome for both protecting the house and melting targets at the range. Downsides are pretty minor. Factory sights are just okay, so you might want to upgrade if you're shooting tiny groups way out there, and the collapsible stock can work itself loose after a few thousand rounds of hard use. Still, if you want something that feels premium, runs like a sewing machine, and doesn't cost an arm and a leg, the Thurian Defense Carbine is an absolute home run for anyone who wants modern features on a real-world budget. And now, let's give it up for the undisputed champion of the bargain bin, the Hi-Point 995 TS. If your wallet is screaming for mercy, this absolute unit has your back with real-world prices floating between $330 and $472. Yeah, I know it's ugly as sin, but don't sleep on it because this thing is tougher than a $2 steak. 16.5-inch barrel, 6.25 pounds, short enough to clear rooms at dark 30 without snagging on every door frame. Blowback design, so simple a caveman could fix it, and field stripping is legit easier than assembling IKEA furniture. Ships with 10 round mags, but the aftermarket has 15-, 20-, even 50-round options if you want to go full chaos mode. At 50 yards, it'll keep every round in the A zone all day, perfect for home defense or just plinking with the boys. Feeds on the cheapest, nastiest steel case ammo you can find and still keeps chugging. Plus, the thing is practically indestructible. People have literally run these over with trucks, and they still work. Only real complaints are the grip is a little slick when your hands get sweaty during marathon range days, and those factory 10-rounders feel restrictive until you upgrade. But pound for pound, dollar for dollar, if you need a carbine that simply refuses to die and leaves plenty of cash for ammo, the Hi-Point 995 TS is impossible to beat. It's the fast food cheeseburger of the gun world. Not gourmet, but hot, ready, and always satisfies. Next up on the list is the Extar EP9, and holy cow, if you want something that feels like it weighs less than your AR-15's upper receiver, this is it. Coming in at a ridiculous street price of only $449, it's straight up one of the biggest bangs for the buck on the planet right now. You're looking at a 16-inch barrel, but the whole gun only tips the scales at 5.2 pounds, so light it practically floats in your hands. Runs on a dead simple blowback setup that turns recoil into a gentle nudge, letting you hammer the trigger and still keep every round on a steel plate like it's nothing. Feeds from Glock-mags, so you can run those 33-round happy sticks all day and keep the party going. Perfect for slinging in a backpack, grabbing for that midnight. What was that noise moment? Or just clowning at the range without your shoulder hating you later. Groups are plenty tight inside 75 yards, and the crazy low weight means you can hold it on target forever without fatigue. Downsides: the all-polymer construction feels a little toy-like if you're used to metal guns, and after a few hundred rounds in one session, it can get a tad snappy. But at this price? Bro, just buy two. The Extar EP9 is the definition of stupid fun that somehow still works when the chips are down. Let's keep the party rolling with the Smith & Wesson M&P FPC, the folding carbine that makes you wonder why every gun isn't built this way. Sitting right around $500 to $630 depending on the sale, it rocks a 16.25-inch barrel while only weighing 5.03 pounds. The magic trick? It folds in half down to a laughable 16.4 inches total length, perfect for sliding under a truck seat, stuffing in a backpack, or hiding in a tiny apartment safe. Blowback keeps everything buttery smooth, ships with 23-round M&P mags, and there's even a storage slot in the grip that holds 2 spare mags because S&W actually gets it. Super controllable, dead nuts reliable at 50 yards, and the ergonomics are so good you'll forget you're holding a folding gun. Whether you're pieing corners in the hallway or posted up at the bench, this thing just feels right. Only real knocks. It ships with no irons or optic, so budget another $50 to $150 for sights, and the folding action is fast once you practice, but the very first time you try to deploy it under stress, you might fumble a half-second. Still, if you want maximum capability in minimum space, the M&P FPC is an absolute no-brainer. And speaking of folding legends, say hello to the Kel-Tec Sub-2000 Gen 2, the carbine that basically invented the throw-it-in-a-laptop bag category. Priced from $424 to $511, this featherweight champ has a 16.1-inch barrel but only weighs 4 pounds. Yeah, you heard me, 4 pounds. Fold it in half, and it collapses to just 16.25 inches, small enough to disappear in a grocery bag or glove box, and nobody will ever know. Runs Glock-mags, 15-rounders flush fit, but you can run 33s if you want. Shoots legit 3-4-inch groups at 50 yards all day, and the blowback system keeps recoil softer than most 9mm pistols. New shooters love it, old heads love it, and it's the ultimate grab-it-and-go travel buddy. Downsides are minor, but real. No last round bolt hold open, so speed reloads take a tiny bit more brain power, and the grip can get slick when your palms are sweaty. Easy fix with a little skateboard tape or a Hogue sleeve. But if portability is king in your world, the Sub-2000 is still wearing the crown and laughing at everything else. Stepping up the food chain, we have the Ruger PC Carbine Gen 3, the one that basically says, I want every feature, please. Running $779 to $999. It's the most expensive gun we're still calling budget, but man, does it bring the goods. 16.12-inch barrel, 7 pounds of good American beef that soaks up recoil like a sponge, and a blowback system that's smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. Comes with 17-round SR9 mags, but throw in the $30 Glock-mag adapter and you're in happy stick heaven. Takedown barrel, adjustable stock, threaded muzzle, and accuracy that'll make you look like a pro at 50 yards and beyond, especially once you screw a kin on it. Perfect for the nightstand or a full day turning money into brass. Trade-offs? That 7-pound weight can feel sluggish if you're running and gunning in tight spaces, and the mag release is a little stiff out of the box. But if you want a carbine that's built like a tank, shoots like a laser, and will probably outlive your grandkids, the Ruger PC is worth stretching the budget for. For the folks who are ready to treat themselves, the B&T APC9 Pro is the straight-up luxury option. Yeah, we're talking $1,300 to $1,600 territory, but this thing is on another level. Ultra-compact 6.88-inch barrel, still 6.7 pounds of Swiss precision that feels like it was carved out of a solid block of awesome. Blowback that runs like a sewing machine, accepts B&T, Glock, or SIG P320 mags, so 30-rounders are basically standard. This is the carbine you grab when you want zero excuses, insanely accurate, stupid reliable, and built to military-grade standards that make everything else feel like a toy. It's the I'm done messing around choice for serious home defense, or anyone who just loves the finest things. Only real downside is obvious. That price tag will make your wallet cry. If you've got the coin and you want the absolute best 9mm carbine experience money can buy right now, the APC9 Pro is worth every single dollar. But let's be real, for most of us, it's a one-day gun rather than a today gun. Alright, let's keep this train rolling with the just right carbines 9mm, the AR-15's chill cousin that doesn't demand you sell a kidney. Sitting pretty between $599 and $699, it's got a 16.25-inch barrel, weighs a very swingeable 6.5 pounds, and feels right at home whether you're PNG corners in the hallway or sending rounds downrange with the squad. Straight blowback keeps the recoil buttery soft so you can double tap all day and still look smooth doing it. Runs classic cold SMG style stick mags that hold 30 rounds, same pattern as a bunch of other guns, so mags are cheap and everywhere. If you've ever run an AR-15, you'll be running this thing like you were born with it. Same manual of arms, same muscle memory, super easy to clean and maintain. It'll keep all your shots in the chest at 50 yards no problem. Only real knock is that, like a lot of budget ARs, it doesn't love living in a swamp, so toss a light coat of oil on it and store it dry and you're golden. If you want legit AR vibes without the AR price tag, the Just Right carbine is an absolute sleeper hit. Next contender is the Palmetto State Armory PA9, and PSA did what PSA does best. Brought a ton of gun for not a ton of money, $500 to $650 all day long. 16-inch barrel, crazy light, 5.5 pounds, and it drinks from Glock magazines up to 33 rounds if you're feeling extra. Familiar AR controls, low recoil thanks to blowback, and it shoots way better than the price suggests. Easy 4-inch groups at 50 all day with cheap ammo. Perfect nightstand or truck gun for folks already deep in the AR ecosystem. It's not a 100-yard precision instrument, so if you're trying to ring steel way out there, look elsewhere, but inside normal defensive distances this thing is a steal. Bang for buck champion right here. If your budget is straight up ramen noodle level, say hello to the Anderson Manufacturing AM9, usually found for $350 to $420. 16-inch barrel, still only 5.5 pounds, Glock mags with 17-rounder standard, and it runs. Yeah, the recoil is a little sharper than the others because it's so light, and the fit and finish are definitely budget, but it goes bang every single time and keeps rounds on a man-sized target at defensive ranges all day long. Accuracy falls off past 50 to 75 yards, and it doesn't feel as refined as the big boys. But if you just need something that works and leaves you money for cases of ammo, the Anderson gets it done without apology. Stepping into the treat yourself, but not too much zone, is the CZ Scorpion EVO 3S1 carbine. $800 to $1,000 depending on the day. 16.2-inch barrel, 6.3 pounds, and that iconic Scorpion look that just screams tactical cool. Blowback keeps its soft shooting, but its legitimately accurate way past 50 yards. Easily one of the best shooters on this entire list. Comes with 20-round translucent mags, or slap on a Glock adapter if you want. And the build quality is several cuts above most budget guns. Feels like it'll still be running 50 years from now. Price is the only real downside. But if you're trying to stay under $700 or $800, it hurts a little. But if you can stretch the budget, the Scorpion is the one you'll never regret. Now, let's shout out the Beretta CX 4 Still one of the slickest looking carbines you can grab for $600 to $750. 16.6-inch barrel, 5.75 pounds. Overall length around 31.5 inches, super handy in hallways. Eats Beretta 92 or PX 4 mags, 15 to 30 rounds. So if you already own a Beretta pistol, you're sharing magazines like a boss. Fully ambidextrous controls, crazy low recoil, and surprisingly accurate at 50 yards. Top rail for whatever optic your heart desires. The factory trigger is a hefty 11 pounds, a $180 trigger job fixes that quick. And a few folks say it feels a little bulky after a couple hundred rounds, but for pure reliability, ergonomics, and that clean Italian styling, make the CX4 an absolute classic for home defense. Wrapping up the AR crowd, we've got the Stag Arms Model 9, $650 to $750 all day. 16-inch barrel, 6.8 pounds. Runs those same Colt SMG 32 round mags, and it's built tough. Blowback keeps it soft and accurate. Controls are pure AR-15. So if you've ever run a Stag or any mil-spec rifle, you're already an expert. Super durable, great for both protecting the house and burning ammo with the boys. Only minor complaint is if you've never touched an AR platform, the grip angle might feel weird for the first mag or two. Other than that, it's a tank that just works. So tell me right now in the comments, which one are you pulling the trigger on? Drop your pick, ask questions, roast my choices, whatever, let's talk. If this monster guide helped you out, destroy that like button, slam subscribe, turn on the bell, you know the drill. Appreciate every single one of you hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, keep training, peace.